This is our end-of-year final project. I am Lizeth Hernandez, and our group also includes Leah Demas, Mia Stein, and Damian Pastrano. We're testing and asking the question, does social media really affect the mental health of teenage students? We discovered an article by American Psychological Association that dictates the correlation between social media usage for teens and the symptoms of depression. It was created April 1st of the year 2024. Our target group for this final is teenage students.
Hi everyone, I am Leah, and we decided to choose this topic because mental health is a significant issue surrounding peers and people around the world, and we decided to see how social media can affect our mental health. Now, our parameter is the true proportion of teenage students whose mental health is affected because of social media. Our data was categorical because we were asking questions based on people's mental health, not anything that was numerical. And we used a cluster sampling technique to collect our data. To randomly collect our data, we used a dice to determine what classes would be assigned to each of the members. Our classes 1 through 6 aligned with the dice numbers, and we each took a turn to roll it. We each got a number 1 through 6 and surveyed all the students in that class period. The lurking variables we saw were students being absent because it could affect their results, and also gender because it is stereotypical for men to not share their feelings because of societal standards.
Hi, my name is Mia. We created a Google Forms survey to collect responses from students. It included questions about how much time they spend on social media and whether they think it affects their mental health. Here is the QR code we used. We surveyed one-on-one people. This gave us a decent range of responses. Though we learned from our calculations that the ideal sample size based on 3% margin of error would have been 93, so we actually succeeded that. All of our responses were organized in a Google spreadsheet, which help us analyze the data and create visual representations. Here is the spreadsheet with all of our data. One issue we ran into was with how we worded a question about how many hours people spend on social media. We left it as an open-ended question, and that made the data harder to analyze. People gave vague or inconsistent answers, so we had to manually sort the responses and figure out how many spent less than 4.8 hours. After reviewing the data, we found that 27 out of 101 students said that social media negatively impacted their mental health. That means our sample proportion is 0.267 or 26.7%. To help visualize our findings, we created two graphs. A bar graph that shows how many students reported negative mental health impacts, and a pie chart breaking down the percentage of students affected versus non-affected.
Hello everyone, my name is Damian. For our HO, it's P is equal to 0.41 because according to the American Psychological Association, they state that 41% of teens who use social media for more than 4.8 hours a day rated their mental health as poor or very poor. As for our HA is P is greater than 0.41, we're expecting that there will be more than 41% of teens who use social media for more than 4.8 hours a day rate their mental health as poor or very poor. The type of test we'll be using is a 1-Prop-Z test. We then check for conditions and assumptions, and everything checks out as normal, so we can proceed. Then the next step is to find the z-score. We use the z-score formula. We added our data, and we got the answer of negative 2.92 and a p-value of 0.998. Since our p-value of 0.998 is greater than 0.05, we would reject HA. There is not convincing statistical evidence of more than 41% of teens who use social media for more than 4.8 hours a day rate their mental health as poor or very poor. A type 2 error would occur because it would support HA when in reality it is false. When conducting our CI, we stated our parameter and then listed our p-hat and significant level. We used a 1-Prop-Z interval and we skipped the conditions and assumptions since they had been met during our HT. We use this formula right here to find our intervals, and this is what we got. For our conclusion, we are 95% confident that the intervals from 0.18102 to 0.35364 captures the true proportion of teens who use social media for more than 4.8 hours a day rated their mental health as poor or very poor. We compared our conclusions from our CI and HT, and ultimately they don't have the same conclusion due to the fact that 0.41 is excluded from our intervals.